2, 3. Hey, all you cool coyotes and roadrunners. Welcome to Tucson Talks. My name is Moyer, and I'm joined by my co-host and my partner in life, Will Moyer. Hey, Will.
Hi.
How are you doing over there? You're so far away.
I know, so far, another room.
Well, I'm glad you're in this space with me. So a couple of years ago, Will and myself started talking about an outlet specific to Tucson where we showcase some voices within the community, share different experiences. And so this segment has become a supplement to Jaxon Life Design, which is presented by. And Jaxon Life Design is a consulting agency that I started recently. I call myself a self and space curator, where I'm focused on consulting services with soul. So anything from personal coaching, professional coaching, interior design, and home organization. To find out more information about that, visit jaxonlifedesign.com or find me on any of my social media channels, which will be down in the description of this video. This web series is dedicated to guest stars who have a Tucson presence, whether that's through being a community connector, an entrepreneur, a pioneer, a staple, or just someone that's just really cool. So we wanted to bring those voices to the forefront and have some good conversation. Completely unedited. This is a very organic and natural space for our guests and ourselves. Hopefully run about 30 minutes, but we'll never know. It just depends on where we're talking, but we'll let it go with the flow, and we like to keep it real. So thank you for being here. Today, our guest is Ryann Soca. She is owner of a minimalist vintage lifestyle brand called Luca Ryann. It specializes in natural drivers as well as wardrobe staples that transition with you through all aspects of life. For more information, you can go to her website, which is lucaryann.com. Visit her social media channels, which are also in the description of this video. Thank you and welcome, Ryann.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm honored to be here.
How are you doing today?
Welcome.
Thank you. You know, I'm hanging in there. It's like interesting times, but hanging in there, just happy for the sunshine and the quiet.
Can I just say your hair is gorgeous?
Thank you. I feel like it looks so crappy. I'm like, I should have done it 3 days ago or 2 days ago instead of 3 days ago. It would look better today, but my timing was off.
Oh no, it looks gorgeous. I just want you to
Thank you.
toss it.
Thank you. I know. So messy. Thank you.
It looks really good. Swipe to the side.
I know that my mom's like, do you sleep like that? Like, do you ever do anything else? I'm like, no, put it to the right.
Love it. So a little backstory with Ryann. We connected by being attendees at the Harvard School of Real Estate here in Tucson called Hogan. And yeah, so that was a good time with those late night classes and a bunch of characters.
Ooh, girl, those Hogan characters.
You guys paid way more attention than I did. I literally like saw a cute guy and I was like, oh, I'll study the day before the test.
What was that bar nearby? You probably went to that all the time.
The Shelter?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Too many. That's like all I did.
Yeah.
Some nights I would just be like, I'll just close my eyes when it's time to go to the Shelter.
Wake me up when it's time to seek shelter, right?
Exactly.
That was actually Jaxon and I's first date at the Shelter.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Wow.
Yeah. Memories.
I feel like that's a staple. And I didn't know that then because I basically just moved here. But I was like, oh, that place. And people were like, yeah, that's like the dive bar to go to. So
okay.
It was convenient placement.
Yeah, definitely central. Hopefully they'll kick back after all this pandemic stuff settles down.
I know. I hope so.
Yeah. How are you coping with that
now?
You know,
make one.
Right. It's interesting timing. I had just closed my shop that was at the MSA Annex, like literally maybe 2 or 3 weeks before COVID got really crazy. So I was already kind of transitioning into having more of an online presence with the store. But I was heavy into events, and that was kind of where I was going with everything. Everything was going to be event related, and now all of that has stopped. So I'm, it's still happening. I'm still trying to have an online presence, and I am selling through different platforms online and really like on Instagram. But it's been challenging to keep motivation when I'm not buying constantly because I sell vintage. So it's kind of hard to find like the inspiration at times, but I'm just like daydreaming of the day that I go stand in line at the estate sale again. So
right. Yeah. Have you had any moments? I know some small business owners have said that they're like having a good time to like reevaluate their business model and thinking of different like innovative ways to connect with their audience. So has that sparked in you during this time?
Yeah, I think again, it's just like really crazy timing because that's where I was and where my focus was before I closed. The brick and mortar in that aspect wasn't working for me before all of this. And now I realize how crucial having that online component really is, because you need, while Tucson is great, you have to reach a larger audience to take it to a level that's like sustainable, really, for me. I have 2 small kids and, you know, it never ends, but so it has definitely made me focus, and I kind of took off running. I sell now through a site called Garmentory. So I have my website, but I also sell on Garmentory, and they showcase like small independent businesses that carry independent designers, and then they have a separate vintage section. And they have a much stronger pull in cities that I was trying to kind of get connected with, like Seattle, Chicago, LA, while still maintaining my Tucson presence. So I've been focusing on that, and then just really hoping that like events are things that people want to go to when this is all over. Right. Because I, right as the shop was closing, I did my first event with A Current Affair, which is a really big vintage like showroom event that goes between San Francisco, LA, and New York. And they have maybe like 80 to 100 vendors and about 12 shows a year. Oh, wow. So I was supposed to be there this June, and I don't think that show is going to happen. So sad. I know, it's crazy. And it's like most of these people rely on this show because they get their core customers, their online shoppers, and then you make a good amount at the show itself. And it kind of, so it's just a really crazy time.
Yeah. Right. So, where are you from originally, Ryann?
I'm from Atlanta.
So you grew up in Atlanta. What made you move out here to Tucson?
I grew up in Atlanta, and I'd gone back and forth. I'd lived in LA and New York, and my parents had moved to Phoenix, and I was pregnant with my first child, and I wanted to be closer to them. So I went to Phoenix, and I wasn't quite feeling it. And then I came to Tucson on a whim for lunch one day, and I was like, oh, okay, this is better. And like 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, there I was. So yeah, I've been here.
What was your Phoenix turnoff?
What's, too new, too spread out. Even though, I mean, it's so funny to hear people here be like, oh, you didn't like Phoenix because it's so big and overwhelming. I'm like, no, it was just like boring because I didn't see like life. You know, I wanted community and neighborhoods and people walking around, and it just wasn't for me. It's at that time, I'll say Phoenix seems to have changed quite a bit, but at that time there was like no downtown scene, and I just couldn't find like my place there, and I didn't think that what I wanted to do would be received that well.
Too many Joanne fabrics, huh?
Right, exactly.
Too many plazas.
Yes. I remember being like, my friend rode out there with me from Atlanta. She was like, the highway is the same color as the shopping center, which is the same color as the house. I'm like, yeah, totally.
And then there's a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Exactly. Exactly. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
it just didn't feel like it had what I needed. But, you know, it's changing a lot. And it's been interesting to see how Phoenix is growing.
True. I know that, you know, a lot of people, you were saying like Phoenix being boring, that it's very common for people to be like, Tucson's so boring. Yeah. And I'm a native to Tucson, and I've been here for like over 35 years. Wow. And it's just like, I visited other places, and there's definitely been like a curiosity and maybe a desire to move elsewhere. But I don't know, I feel like there's always like a pull back here. And I really think what it comes down to is like the community part of it, to where like you can connect so well in Tucson, which is like a good and bad thing. Like connecting gets you a lot of things, but also can get you in a lot of trouble.
Yes, totally.
With people.
And sometimes you want a little anonymity, like going to dinner and not seeing anybody you know. It's
Yeah.
nice sometimes.
Yeah. Have your secret
Yeah.
space.
Right.
Instead, you're belly up at the shelter, girl.
I mean, on display for all to see in my like 6-drink glory.
There you go.
But yes,
No
definitely
shame.
think it's a great place to, it's a really great place to meet people, especially me being new at that time. And I was just starting my brand then. And I felt like I couldn't have picked a better place to start because people were really received it well and super welcoming and just kind of like they wanted more things to be here.
What do you think Tucson's going to look like in 10 years from now?
You know, it's hard to say. Before I had a shop, there are definitely some unique challenges to having a small business in Tucson, I think, or for this kind of business that I have. And it's hard. I would like to think that more like working professionals would come, like young working professionals, but I've seen both sides of it from sitting in the shop and people being like, that community in Tucson kind of tends to seem to come in and out and not stay for very long.
Transient.
And so, yeah, very transient. But then I've seen this other wave, like where they are opening the Posada House and people are realizing like what a gem Tucson is and what a great place it is to bring people who want to like put roots down and really stick it out. And so I'm curious. I don't know. I think I think there are going to be a lot of really interesting things that are going to come. I think it's going to grow. The homes here are beautiful. Real estate, as you all know, has already seemed to like skyrocketed over the past 4 or 5 years. So I would assume there's more of that. I just hope people stay.
Yeah, for sure.
It's true. Do you have a favorite fact about Tucson?
I don't know if this is a fact. I have a favorite thing. I love the swap meet on Westover on the reservation, not the takeaway one, on the reservation. And it took me a long time to find that. And when I did, I was like hooked. Oh, I love that Lisa Frank's from here.
Go Lisa Frank, right?
Go Lisa Frank. I was a huge Lisa Frank fan.
Yeah.
She used to have a shop in Tucson Mall back in the day.
Wow.
It was like the Trapper Keepers, or it was just a fantasy world.
I would have been dragged out like by my ears. Like I was obsessed. I wanted a new Trapper Keeper for every day of the week.
What was that place you loved eating at the Tucson Mall? You said it hits hard. It's like some Mediterranean.
Oh my gosh, yes. What is it called? It's in it's at Park Place, actually. It's in the food court. It's a Lebanese place. I think it's called like Mediterranean Express, or it is so good. My neighbors are from Lebanon. They've been here 10 years and they told us about it. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, no, it's probably not that. I was like, they probably think we don't like really know. And I was there with my kids and I was like, this, what do they say now? Go slap, or this slaps. I don't know how you say it.
Or this hits, or it slaps differently.
It slaps. That thing slaps. It's really good. So you should try it. It's like a Lebanese family. It's in Park Place Mall by McDonald's. I think it's on the side by McDonald's, and it's the best I've had here.
Nice.
I forgot about that.
We love a good hidden gem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Tucson's a big foodie town now. That's a big change that I've seen. That's getting a lot of recognition for that. Say it's your last meal, what restaurant would you go to? What local restaurant would you go to for your last meal?
Seriously, I would go eat Dorado tacos at the swap meet from this guy that's in the back. It's so good. He has like some tables that you can, this is the swap meet at Westover. It's like off of Mission on the reservation, and it's basically all food. So it's not like the Tanca Verde one, which I feel like their food's more like Six Flags, you know, but you could find like knickknacks. This is like everyone is out Saturday, Sunday morning. There's mariachis playing. There's every different type of like Mexican street food you could think of. And it's photos everywhere, the best churros, but there's a guy in the back that sells the best fried tacos, and that would be it. When I think of where I will go when I'm set free from here, that is where I'm going.
What about a first date? Where would you take like a cute little boy?
Traditional date, I think. Have you had sushi on Oracle is like one of my favorites. My friend's dad owns that, actually, and
who's the head sushi chef there too, though?
I can't.
I've met him. He's really cool.
He left, I think, recently.
Oh, he did? He was there for years.
Forever. Like she said, they were family, but I can't remember his name. But yes, probably sushi on Oracle.
You're a traditional girl.
Right? Yeah.
No Sushi Garden for you, right?
Yeah, that wasn't for me. I tried it. I was like, okay, even my kids were like, we'll go to the other spot.
That says something. That says something.
It really does. It does.
Kind of talking back to your like career focus and whatnot, is there anything that you wish you had known before you started out in your career?
I think I'm still the only employee, basically, right? And I still kind of think I can do it all, but I've learned that you cannot. One person is not meant to do every single component of a business. I think it's really important to find someone that you trust, that you can outsource things to, especially when you have a business where you have to physically find the product. I think it's important that you are able to continue to be able to create and not get so lost in the business aspect. And also maybe setting more boundaries for myself in terms of like being in the shop. I felt like people really wanted me to be there, and I get that because it's such a personal experience, and you're going in and you're catching up, and you establish these close relationships with people who were at first customers. But there's a line when you have a family, when you have a partner and have, there's more than that. And I think there's a lot of guilt that goes into stepping away from it sometimes and letting other people be there. But it's crucial, if that business is going to continue, that you take the time you need for yourself and your family, and find people that you trust with your business.
Preach, girl, preach.
Right? I'm learning it the hard way, right?
Yeah, well, life lessons, that's big.
Yeah, totally.
What makes you feel the most inspired, or that you're like living your best self?
When I realize that I am doing something that I love, that I would do without money being a part of it. And it's like therapy for me, be going on the hunt, finding pieces like that is how this all started, during just kind of like a healing process for myself and growing and figuring out my own style. And I feel happy doing that. And when I'm able to like have some sort of control over my time, where I'm having like personal time for me, and balancing that, which is a constant juggle, but I've learned, and that's something the quarantine has given me. It's like, okay, like it's okay to slow down. This was going to happen regardless. You had to take that time, because I was definitely getting burnt out. So eating and shopping are when I felt my best.
Wait, can you tell us like what has been your best find you've ever thrifted, or like what piece would it be?
I found a velvet Chanel skirt in Atlanta for like $4, and it had the back, it was like a knee-length skirt with a slit up the back, 2 little pockets in the front with gold C's, the double C's, and then 4 buttons in the back. I still have it. When I find someone who's worthy, I'll let them buy it.
What size is it? Can you fit into it?
I could before my second kid. And the goal is, after quarantine, I'll have a body reveal party, and I'll wear
the Chanel skirt.
Chanel skirt.
Wait, what color is it?
Welcome back.
It's black. It's black velvet with gold buttons. It's perfect. I used to wear it with like a little silk black V-neck cami. And
All
it's
right,
so
Real
cool.
Housewives of OC.
That's probably my best find. Oh God, that was such a good. I thought someone was gonna steal it. I like grabbed it and ran, and my friend's like, "No one's gonna fight you. Like, it's yours."
How much do you think you could sell that for? You bought it for $4.
$4.50 maybe. It depends. I think if I took it to another city, I could get more. And I think like if I did it at an event for Current Affair, like people they're just like vintage whores. They want it. They don't care what it is. So probably between like $5.50 there, and regularly like $4 to $4.50.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So just a tiny little markup.
Yeah.
Small markup.
Hey, you took the time to find that skirt.
Yeah,
And that's money.
It's crazy that when you look at how much time it takes and the gas you spend. And I mean, I go back and forth from Phoenix. I do like buying trips. Sometimes you're like, am I actually making money? Because I don't know that I can put a dollar amount to what is happening. You know?
Exactly.
Is it like is that like hunt for a piece? Is there like this huge, I don't know, is there like a curiosity factor of like what's out there? What am I going to find? Like,
Oh my gosh.
wait.
I always say, like, you have to go with your intuition. There'll be days, you know, before I was closed Mondays and Tuesdays, and I was like, okay, those are the days that I need to go. And I would wake up and be like, it's not today. Today's not the day. And maybe it is out there, but if it's a mindset. And then there would be moments where I'm like, my palms were actually itching. I'm like, I have got to get out there. So yeah. And cart envy, you know, you see somebody with some crap and you're like, I need that. Well, who told them to get that? And you're like following them around the store. So there's so many crazy, they need more reality shows about like estate sale people and thrifters, because it's its own crazy ass world.
There's some goblins out there.
Oh my gosh. And they just show up to a Carchetti estate sale. You'll see them all.
Yes.
Acting a straight donkey in the line.
You mean a Kardashian estate sale?
That's what we call it. Yeah.
So crazy.
We actually
Those
got a pretty
estate sales in
rad dining room
Tucson
table.
are
tonight, though.
so much fun.
Wow. I can imagine the stuff that was there.
Oh, so many things. Is there anything specifically that you're curious about right now, just in life in general?
I'm curious as to what's going to happen when the quarantine's over, how things will, like what life will look like, what any of these businesses will look like. There's so many, I sold new designer too, and there's so many independent small brands that I don't think will make it. And so I think fashion as a whole, like it's going to change. I think seasonal lines will change. I think they might all go to like, this is our collection. It's a small collection and it's year round and it'll be years. So I'm really curious to see how fashion changes, how like the service industry, because that's an industry I worked in for years prior to retail. And I think what I've realized most is like how even if you don't think you have community, you do. And we all ultimately really rely on each other. We're also connected. So I'm curious to see if that mindset will like sink in or if people will go right back to being insane. So
Right.
yeah, we'll see.
Human nature.
Yeah.
What podcasts and TV shows are you listening to right now? Watching?
I'm really into Esther Perel. Have you guys ever heard of her? She's a psychotherapist that has a podcast called, How Did We Get Here? Or Where to Go From Here? Something like that.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
She focuses on like romantic marriage and work, basically, like the two leading forces in people's lives. And she's a really unconventional take on all of that and like why people cheat and what's really going on. And when she talks, like gold just drops out of her mouth. I'm obsessed with her. Her parents were Holocaust survivors who met on the road leading out of a concentration camp. And she's just fascinating. So I've been listening to her, even though I don't have a marriage anymore or a partner or a relationship, but I want to be prepared when I do. And TV shows, let's see. So I watched Ozark. I'm like a big Ozark fan. I just finished that. And Insecure, even though I'm a little,
Oh,
I don't
same. We feel the same about Insecure.
know. It just
we
wasn't, I watched her back in the day when she was on YouTube and had misadventures of like, and I'm just like, it's incredible to see her growth, but also this first episode just wasn't hidden. Like, it wasn't funny.
Did you watch
the
funny. It did not go slap. It did not slap.
No.
No.
Amanda Seales is really funny. Who's on Insecure.
She is.
Her HBO special is like to
Do
die
you follow
for.
her Instagram?
Oh yeah.
She is. I have a love-hate relationship. I love her, and then I like mute her, and then I bring her back, and then I mute her.
Yeah, she gets a little intense sometimes.
But she's so smart, and she's so funny. I'm trying to think. That's
You also you were on TV.
I cannot believe you guys saw that. Oh my God.
Can you dive into that a little bit? It was a little TLC show, right?
It was a TLC show, like
My Strange Addiction.
My Strange Addiction. This woman had like insane long fingernails, and I like actually was working at that shoe store at the time in Atlanta, and they were like, this woman's gonna come in, and like TLC had emailed the owner, and they kind of wanted us to like talk shit about the lady, and she was the sweetest woman. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I mean, I did do like a eye thing from the corner, but she was so kind. I didn't want to talk bad about her.
What were the nails like? Were they crazy?
They were like close to the ground. Like, just if her hand was here, they curled. They curled a lot.
You had to lace up her booty.
I sure did. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Memories. You did have a really good television appearance, though.
Well, I did TV for like I acted for years. That was my background, and I went to broadcasting school. And I had an agent in Atlanta, and I used to do like the commercials and stuff. So that's like my first love, actually, is like being in front of the camera. So
would you attempt that profession again? Would you go back to that?
You know, I started this side project with a friend from Atlanta who used to work at CNN. Everybody works at CNN in Atlanta. So we've started this thing called Let 'Em Know Live, where we do these Instagram live shows, just kind of discussing. It's like two grown ladies giving their 2 cents. And we just discuss topics that, you know, are relevant to us, how we feel, what's going on in the world. We're both divorced in our 30s, living with our parents. So that alone has like tons of material.
Yeah.
We just follow our parents around and like videotape them and put it in stories and be like, this shit is crazy. So I would. So, you know, it's been so much fun. We've done 2 episodes, and it's been like so therapeutic for me, and I think a way for me to get back to my roots, because I've been so focused on clothing for so long, and I wanted to find a way to tie those 2 in, but I didn't want to like water down one brand, you know, by being like, I do everything. So this is separate, and it's been so fun. So you guys have to check it out. It's Wednesdays at 6 Pacific Standard.
For sure.
How long have you been doing that?
Since the quarantine.
Okay.
We did one last night and then one the week before. So 2 weeks.
Nice.
2 weeks. We've been, so I can totally understand. We've been talking about doing it since like 2008. I'm not even joking. We talked about it for so long, but you know, media was different then. And now I'm like, we don't have shit else to do. So
let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little quick session round with you, a little chit chat session. So I'm just going to ask you questions and just go with your gut instinct on them. Now, with you being so fashion minded, what's a wardrobe staple, regardless of gender, that like everybody should have? What's the one thing?
Everybody needs to have a good pair of denim.
Do you have a favorite denim brand?
I like old Levi's, 501s, a good morning pair of 501. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, go ahead, Will.
Oh, what's your favorite Tucson spring look?
Linen, even though I love it all summer, and then by fall I'm like, get it away from me. But like a white linen, like shift dress with cute leather sandals and some hoops. That's like, I feel like that's my Tucson uniform. You can wear it in December, you can wear it in May.
What about, do you believe Tucson is restricted to the saying dress for the season, not the weather?
I do. I miss when I go back east and I see people wearing leather and like they've got their boots, they've got their coats. I do miss like seasonal clothing, and I think people they kind of like dress up more. I think you can get really casual here, which I love because that's me by nature. But you know, I think now with like when I saw Postino's open, I was like, I'm wearing my leather boots there and I will not look weird. I'm gonna wear all my shit and get these small plates. Literally, like the week it opened, I wore like one of my favorite outfits, and I'm like, I'm out.
You put your shelter flops up on the closet.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, which is a great thing too. It's like you don't, you know, you can really just embrace yourself, and everything's like leisure wear now, and like everyone's doing linen, and everyone wants that like desert vibe. But I do think we kind of miss out on like fall and winter looks sometimes. We get like 3 weeks, and we just gotta pack it in.
Do the most.
3 outfit changes a day, and you can get all your stuff in.
It's crazy. Like being a Tucson native, I've never obviously lived in any cold weather locations, but we have a closet that's solely dedicated to a variety of jackets, like light to heavy. And I'm like, I may never wear this heavy ass jacket, but it looks beautiful. So if there's that one day, that 1 hour that I can wear that jacket, I will
get your
wear that
picture.
jacket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Crazy. Pre-quarantine, say it's Saturday in Tucson, what are you up to? What does your weekend plans usually look like?
Let's see. Getting something tasty to eat. I really like what's that Indian place on Grant? Shari Punjab. So, you know, like dinner with friends. Good.
Love their new remodel.
Yes, I was taken aback. I was like, this is
step up.
I had to like go outside. I was like, am I in the same space? Good for them. Yeah. So just like, you know, late dinners with friends. I have to wait till I put my toddlers to bed. They hate that, but whatever. 8:30 shouldn't be that late.
Right.
And then, you know, probably drinks afterwards. Riley's. I like Riley's a lot too. Downtown. And then that's it. I mean, I'm pretty low key here. Yeah.
It's the vibe, that's for sure.
Until I'm not. It's 3 a.m. at shelter, and I'm like, I need a lift. Once in a blue.
Start getting into the app, girl. Did you know that Tucson's a big movie town?
I did.
A lot of films have been made here.
Yes, like old and like old Western films too, right? Like older.
A lot of Western films. Yeah. So question, because these are 2 of my guilty pleasure Tucson movies, but would you watch Can't Buy Me Love or Revenge of the Nerds, or do you not know either one of them?
I'd watch Can't Buy Me Love. I've seen them both, and I'm more of a Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah. It always throws me back to like Tucson Mall because they film in there, and I'm like, I remember that.
Memories. You're like, where's the Lisa Frank store?
Right. I see it in the background somewhere.
Right. I need a new trapper keeper.
Right.
Patrick Dempsey, that's where he should have stopped. Like, I feel like his vibe died on Grey's Anatomy. That's just my opinion.
I just don't. His little, something like his facial features are too small for his face, or something is not proportionate. I don't know what it is about him.
Shout out to Patrick Dempsey. Don't know what he's up to.
He's like, couldn't care less.
Living off those Grey's royalties.
Right.
Crazy. If you had to teach a master class, because that's like the thing now, right, is master classes, what would your core message be to the people that were watching it?
dress for yourself and like listen to yourself, silence the noise, and dress for yourself.
Ooh.
That's beautiful. We need to put that on a shirt.
Right. Yep.
What's one beauty routine you're excited to do once you get out of quarantine?
Oh my God, I've been doing it I've been using my most expensive shit. I'm like, why am I over here using La Mer when nobody's going to see me? But I am like a big skincare junkie. So I have you done the Hannah Cure, the Korean mask where you get a little vial? You get a vial and you shake it up and make them, and it was on Instagram. All the celebrities were doing it, and it enlarges your features and your face is literally stuck. And I do it when I want my kids to cut their shit out because it terrifies them. And I put it on and chase them around.
What is the serum that's in there?
Yeah, it's crazy. You should do it. It's a good mask. Yeah, I'm definitely into skincare. I'm just excited to like have some reason to use my sunscreen.
Yeah.
My vitamin C serum. But I do my retinols and that stuff at night. I'm a big acid person, but I try to balance my acids out.
Nice. I wanted to say, going back to your message for your masterclass, RuPaul did one recently.
Okay.
I haven't watched it, but a friend tagged a segment of the video from RuPaul's masterclass, and it was talking about how you dress, and RuPaul's message was, you need to dress in a suit because that's the only way that people take you seriously, because they create these narratives in their head about, okay, well, this person's wearing a suit, so they're important and they have something to say.
Right.
And when that person sent that to me, I was like, are you being shady? Because I'm not a suit person. And in my 9-to-5 job, like it's the expectation that like we work in a financial institution. So everybody's very conservative, especially at higher levels.
Right.
I just cannot vibe with being stuck in a suit. I think that it's important to like mix different pieces that you still look presentable and professional, but I'm not going to succumb to people saying that you need to wear a suit.
No, I don't think so. I think if you have on like,
that's the native Tucson and Jax.
Right. He's
Probably.
like, but I get it. I think you can convey the same like air. If you wear well-made clothing, I don't really care what it is. I think that you can look like put together and professional, you know?
Yeah.
And it's all about the shoes. Because if you wear a nice suit with some screwed up shoes, no one's going to take you seriously anyway.
Right.
So,
what are Tucson fashion pet peeves?
How many? Where do I even start? I don't like rhinestones on the back of jeans. That's something y'all really love to do here.
With the cross, right?
Right.
Oral Valley loves that shit.
Oral Valley. Yeah, that's not. I hate like trucker hats. Like I understand they had a moment. I don't want to see like mesh netting. That needs to be done. So those are my done. Exactly. Those are my two that they puzzle me. Or like those like baby doll waisted cotton dresses that girls throw on to look like how I dress my 3-year-old. If you're 38 and you want to have sex with somebody. Yeah, that's
so cute.
My face. Like, why would you want to be cut off at the least flattering part of anyone's body, right under their boots? If you're not breastfeeding and you're not, 4, then I don't get it.
I can't do cargo shorts.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
Oof. No.
I always tell my friends and Will, like, if I ever start wearing cargo shorts, intervention, I'm going down. Like, you need to get me out of those things.
Yes.
Or utility pants. They call them now utility pants for everything, right?
Can I tell a really sad story about buying a shirt at your store, Ryann? And I got drunk at West End and left the shirt in the booth.
Oh my gosh. They probably have it. But Westbound is notorious for that. Their drinks you have to really go prepared. When they first opened, before they had something now in their cocktails because they sit in barrels.
Yeah.
So they weren't being spun. So all the liquor was at the bottom. And my friend Jason, who owns Now or Never, he had the shop across from me, and it was like 5:30. And he's like, you know, let's get a drink. Why not? We're going to be done in like, 30 minutes. We'll go home soon. I'm like, sure. We both took maybe 3 sips of a margarita. And I was like, I don't know if I should tell him. I'm like, are you fucked up? Because and you could see all the shop owners just started coming out. Everyone was like slurring. I thought I was going to have to take a lift, but they hadn't put anything to spend, and their drinks were really strong then. So that's not a personal thing.
Yeah.
Westbound has really strong drinks, which is great sometimes. Other times, not so much.
We've had our share of experiences.
Yeah. They're good drinks, though.
Yes.
Yeah. They're crafty.
But I missed that shirt.
What shirt was it?
Do you remember, Boo? Was it like a Wrangler shirt? It was like a Wrangler with snap buttons, I think.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Oh no.
I know.
R.I.P.
One of the bartenders
chopping up a storm, and then I had like one of those drinks, and I was a little faded.
You're like, get this away from me.
Use it as a pillow later if you kept it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Rounding out our discussion, you've mentioned a couple things that you're involved with, but I also like to give people the opportunity to plug, and I call it the soulful plug because shameless sounds negative. But is there anything business related or vibe related that you want to plug for people to know about?
Just, my Instagram, that's the best way to shop my collection. It's Luca_Ryann with 2 N's _ and you can find me at lucaryann.com. Please follow A Current Affair. I'll be doing events with them too, and it's a great way to, meet other vendors and find other new favorite people who have great pieces. And they're acurrentaffair.com and at A Current Affair on Instagram. And if you check out Garmentory, they have a wonderful collection of so many different brands, new and vintage, garmentory.com. And then if you want to hear like more about my personal life, it would be at Let 'Em Know Live.
Wait, at what?
I said, if you want to hear more about my personal life, it's at Let 'Em Know Live. Okay. And we start off with a Real Housewife quote. And it's usually we're old school Atlanta. We have this audio clip that's, oh my God, I don't know if it was from the reunion for season 4. Nene had on a black dress. She had the short blonde hair, and she was talking to Sheba Sheree. And she said, what did she say? She was like, I can help you. You need some help? I'm your girl. That's the clip we start with. So,
oh my God.
Don't get me started. I love old Nene. New Nene, I just can't.
I know. Nene, the whole show just needs to go.
She's always in like a pajama pant with like a Hanes t-shirt.
And no, it's just, my cousin's best friend is the executive producer for that show. And I worked for her in reality TV for a while when I lived in New York. And for a long time, I was like, this cannot be real. And I would talk to her and be like, Joy, and she's like, dude, all we do all day are write apology emails to places before we even go, because we know we're going to leave there in such a shit show. She's like, some of them, of course, we're putting them together, but we can't write that. I'm like, you definitely can't. You cannot write those one-liners.
That's true.
Yeah.
Focusing on Tucson community, is there any nonprofit or social service that you support that you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I really love the Gospel Rescue Mission. They have a women's recovery center on Miracle Mile, and they're taking donations right now for quarantine, and they're great. They do so much for like women and children and families, and so many different like resource centers there, and I really just am like floored by how much they do. So that's one that I really like to support. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Good work there.
Yeah.
If you had to tag anybody else that's a Tucson local or lives here at least now, who would you tag to be a guest on this? Who do you think would be fun?
Oh, that's a good question. Nicola that owns Dustin Heritage. Well, it was Dustin Heritage, and now it's called Imaginarium. She changed her name. She was at the Annex, and now she's got like a warehouse space by Floor Polish, like on the backside of her house. And she's great. She's like got super young kids also, and does like vintage furniture. And I know like people in Tucson love her stuff. She's got really great prices, and she constantly has an influx of new items. So I would say her.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Will, do you have any other questions or curiosities for Ryann?
I don't have, well, I'm a Real Housewives stan. Who is your favorite style icon Real Housewife?
Ooh, they've all gone just so astray lately. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Who's the most consistent?
Okay, I'm trying to think of all the franchises. Let's see. Honestly, for Atlanta, I thought Sheree actually did have a good style. And Cynthia did too, just because I'm more like minimal. But then Cynthia got all Atlanta-fied. Who else? Oh, what about Beverly Hills? Who's in Beverly Hills? Definitely not Kyle.
Yeah.
What about Dorit?
Dorit. I like Dorit. Yeah, she's got good fashion. And who else? There was someone else that
like Erica Jane.
Yeah, hers is more, it's just like too much of a look for me. Like I still want it to look kind of like effortless, you know?
It's kind of costume.
It's going to come to me when I get off, but there was someone that I really.
I always loved Heather Dubrow. I know she's not on there anymore, but
classic. Mm-hmm.
She was one of my faves.
But what about New York too? Wasn't there someone in New York? New York, LA, Orange County, Beverly Hills. Sure. We don't even speak on Jersey. Yeah, I'd probably say, Dorit.
Yeah.
Dorit's in the show right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gives good looks.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Do you have any last minute words, Jax?
No, I'm.
No.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, no. No, he's fine.
He's fine. I'm good. Well, thank you, Ryann, for joining us today and being our first official guest on Tucson Talks. Always good to connect with you, and maybe after quarantine, we'll run into you at Beyond Bread again, because I think that was
right.
a random encounter we had that one day.
Or we'll get wine at Postino. Where
that leather get up.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This has been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll make sure to include all your information for social and any of the shout outs that you mentioned. For people that are watching, if you want more information about this program as well as other services offered by Jaxon Life Design, visit jaxonlifedesign.com. Check out the socials in the description for the video. And until next time, stay well, stay focused, and stay connected.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Good one.